praises to Yahweh, God Shem, Yahweh Shai, God Shem, God Gosh. Number one is the apostle, great news and shalom to the hopeful elect. We're Israelites come out every week to prophesy the downfall of the kingdom, pursuant to the scripture, Jeremiah 28:8. Alright? And basically let people know what the times are and decipher all the things going on upon the earth. Right? Because there's a lot of things going on that, well, you really have to blind yourself to everything. Back in your mind, tell you science ain't right. We're here to answer those questions. Basically, the Lord, well, through Paul in the book of Hebrews, declared it to be the beginning of the last days 2,000 years ago, in and around that time, right? And basically now we're in the last days of the last days, right? And that's why the world is starting to shift. You can see the accumulation of events leading up to World War III, which is going to be a nuclear destruction as the Bible speaks of it. Alright, and the Bible prophesied of 3 world wars as well in the book of Revelations. And it also prophesied of all the proxies and the main 2 combatants in America, known as Babylon the Great, and Russia, known as the Bear, or the feet of the beast, right, which pertains to Esau. General. Right, road, my guy. Yeah. There's blatantly a bike right here. But yeah, like, I guess that's Isaiah 62:6. I said, what? Isaiah 62:6. I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord Yahweh, keep not silence. Right, so first of all, Jerusalem, the people before its place. The word Jerusalem goes back to the Hebrew. The Lashon Dashi, the Paleo Hebrew, Yerushalayim, which basically means city of peace. Now that's a people. The city of peace is now in this day and age, well, the world was originally known as the Israelites. Alright? But today the Israelites have been scattered all over the earth. Pertaining to Ezekiel 11:16, it tells you that the Heavenly Father will scatter all over the earth, and where will be a little sanctuary. That little sanctuary is built up, made up of the elect, the hopeful elect, and they basically the New Jerusalem, right? New Jerusalem. So with that being said, there's been watchmen placed upon the walls of that city. They're basically those same watchmen that are now on the walls are basically being inducted by previous individuals that were on that wall. And they come in and they continue doing the work. And they want us to man the wall. And when they're manning the wall, what they're doing is they're blowing a trumpet, and everyone knows what's going to happen. Right? And those that basically catch the air of it, they basically the ones that come into the city of peace and hopefully be part of the elect. Yeah, Isaiah 30:10. Maybe 30. Isaiah 30:20. Though the Lord, though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore.
Yeah, that's talking about slavery, right? And when you deal with the Israelites, that's something that's commonplace in their history. You got the whole book of Judges, which shows you how they basically forsook the Lord, and when they did that, what happened? They wound up in slavery. And then pertaining to the Lord, when they faced the east, they prayed to the Heavenly Father, basically to deliver them out of their captivity. That's what the whole book of Judges goes through different human nations. They basically were always delivered from their captivity. Now, when they were delivered, they basically went back. They had a ruler over them, the judge, and then they basically did the right thing up until when the judge basically, what's it called, passed away, and that generation, then a new generation came, a wicked generation. They did all the things that were wicked. You can read it. That cut them.
But thine eyes shall see thy teachers, and thine eyes shall hear a word, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When you turn to the right hand, and when you turn to the left.
Yeah, so that's basically, as the prophet read in Isaiah earlier, basically hearing that, right, those men on watchtower basically calling out to them. They hear the way, they catch their ear, and they come into the phone as well, and then after they come to an adequate level, they start teaching as well. Right? Start doing it. Right?
Ezekiel 3:17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
There you go, boy. Yeah.
Something stuck. Ezekiel 3:17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the words of my mouth and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way.
Yeah, so they hear the voice of their Heavenly Father, then the Lord tells them to die. But then what are they doing? They're doing it to warn. It's like you see someone walking into traffic, so you basically got to stop them before they get run over by a car. That's basically what we're doing, right? We're going to read it. Read on.
Warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand.
Yeah, so basically, if you don't stop them, warn them from the works that they're doing, that blood will be upon your hands, right?
They warn Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity. But thou hast delivered thy soul.
Yeah, so if you do warn them, you deliver their soul, basically. So you're not going to be held accountable for their death because you did everything in your power to stop them from falling into the wayside, basically. Right? So yeah, that's what we've been set to do. Jeremiah 28, all the prophets who speak throughout the Bible, that's what they're told to do. When you got Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, right? Daniel, the major minor prophets. They all had that calling. Jonah's a good example of that as well. Jonah was called to the work of the Heavenly Father. He decided, I was going to do it. He tried to dip out, go down to Spain, which in that time was known as Tarshish. Basically went down to the coast and tried to jump on a on a boat. Yeah, they had train. That's why I think I said it. Freestyle in my head. Basically jumped to the boat. And the Heavenly Father said, you ain't going to make it down there. Right? So he wind up, having to prophesy to them. When the Heavenly Father ordained you to do this work, you're going to do it regardless. Whether you want to or not, it's something that's just going to fall upon your head. Right? And I know a lot of, there's a handful of brothers that could probably say they would have done something like this. And I'm just saying it for the sake of saying it, like this thing. For the most part, I understand, everyone has different ideals and ideas of what they want to do. Right? Oh yeah, and it's that season. Halloween, champagne, quiet, you got these devils showing their horns, man. Buying him, look so shame face. I saw him over there as well, yeah. When he walked past here, so shame face, it kind of made me realize, oh shit, yeah, it's Halloween. I told you, it's really on Monday.
I always think someone's on my
but you know the weekend.
And then what is wrong? It's the spirit. Everyone's all vested, man. So everyone's all doing anything for Halloween. It's one of those points in the year where people get to like Halloween parties event for the year. It's like most people like Christmas, New Year's, they'll do things. But then other than that, Halloween is not one of the big ones as well. Because it's in the spirit, most of the things in society now, culture now, it's all aligning with what those left-hand side high holy days. That's why that's correlated. Samhain is an ancient pagan festival where they're basically celebrating and giving honor to ancient spirits. Did I read Revelation? Yeah. Revelation 9 and 12. One woe is past. Behold, there come two more woes thereafter. Yeah, you had the First World War. The First World War, and that's what Revelation the 9th chapter goes into, the different dynamics of how that went down, and the fallout of what you had with flight technology being developed and utilized in war. Different medical technologies, people getting shell shocked, people getting obliterated. But then what? There'll be further wars to come after on a similar scale. That's why you have what? World War I in its time was called the Great War. And then after 90 wars to end the war, yeah. War to end the wars and the Great War. And then after World War II, before we even go there, why would we do something like the wars? Great War. It was the first time on such a mass scale that people fighting with that form of artillery. With automatic rifles, guns, all that type of stuff. After the Industrial Revolution, it pushed everything. Technology took a new standard in the world. But then they hadn't ever been able to put it on a scale. Right? They're implementing on a scale. Yeah, I was going to say, but they didn't know the injury, how to accommodate the injury that those weapons could do. That's why it had like blue kind of neural
neurological injury that people got, like shell shock, PTSD, that's when it really set in. The whole different dynamic, right? When the newer man high caliber guns, they had those type of people right there. McKinsey shows as well. Everyone was kind of caught up in an idea. They at the time was, well, what's the name? What's the name? Yeah. But the dad was basically like, you don't even want to be lying to him. You'll see, you know, he hooked up from the back end to where he was like, his son ain't gonna be able to enlist, and then or get drafted. But then he was thinking like, no, I need to go and do this. He's thinking like, you know, he's thinking there's some, there's some great honor associated with it. But the dad knew he was going out there, you're just gonna be, there's nothing meaningful in what you're doing. You're basically going on the orders of completely disconnected parties to go and get your brains blown out, your arm blown off, your leg blown off, your nuts blown off. Like, you're basically just going to get destroyed for other people's interests. And that's something they showed in the movie. Because what happened, the kid ended up just getting whipped. You know, he might have accomplished something afterwards down the line, but then it's like, you know, he just got whipped before he even got to do anything. And I've not even nutted in anyone yet, man. Yeah, that came from the law in Deuteronomy. It tells you if a man has a grave on the field, he's not allowed to make the war. So that's another reason why Esau was the devil, right?
Yeah. Because you can listen to homie at like 16, when there's a bunch of other things, you can't even vote. You can't even do a bunch of other things. You go and get your fucking leg blown off.
Yeah, head blown.
That makes sense. I'll read this as well. Revelation 11:14. The second war was past, behold, the third war cometh quickly. So the second war was what? World War II, like I was going to say. You had the Great War, the war to end the wars, you know, and had it retconned as World War I. That's why there was World War I, then World War II was basically another level of war on that same level of scale. Something else I was going to say. But World War II, that as well, and that mass amount of death and destruction, and with, like I mentioned, those new technologies where they were, I was going to say, World War I, at the beginning of World War I, they were still using cavalry, they were still using a wide variety of techniques to go back to
Is this the boat they're called Seagull?
So we're in the middle of it.
Oh,
No, we don't know.
I thought you were sorry.
But yeah, in World War I, old age tactical war tactics. Yeah, because they were using cavalry. They tried using knights armor to block bullets. I remember watching a documentary going into a bunch of things they were basically trying to do early on, like chainmail and plate mail. But then it was too heavy as well for them to actually like be carrying around guns and chainmail and whatnot. Like modern soldiers, these kids as well. Like 16, 17. They want that physical beat. So that's why you can say that. Right. But like, you now realize it's not really like I'm at my phone. I was at my phone. But I don't know, maybe I was going back to it. You could have realized this. I wanted to tell you probably like being able to get the knowledge to But I know what you're saying, but I just don't. I think my body matures in different times. It's just to the point of 16 is nowhere near. I know what you're saying. Sure, there's people you see at 16. You think that nigga's 11.
I was really proud. That's probably why I'm saying 31 for me. That's cool. I'm seeing pictures of me when I was 21, 19. I look like I was 11.
that's like why, as far as with what they're doing, it's utter madness to just be frying a bunch of completely immature raps, but it's because they're way easier to control, way easier to train, to imprint on, kind of. And they will put up in the glory. Well, they show that in what the fuck's it called, man? Boys in the Hood. When is it Ricky? The brother. Yeah, he was watching the advert from the army. Oh yeah, maybe I should go join the army. Then I think it was, I can't remember who it was. It was Furious. Thinking that it was Furious. Not especially not for a day. You got to fight in the military. Well, and that as well would have been after Vietnam. Them one knew Vietnam was a fucking stuff. Man, like them men were just over there, getting cooked with opium, doing all kinds of madness. Melting kids with fire, with naked, doing all kinds of madness. And then they just retreated. God. They, it was a humongous hell with that. But that's why what? With these wars, it's just a war. There's all that so-called glory Esau tries to sign us with. That ain't in reality. That's not the same thing in Ukraine. They try to do it's like a veiling war against blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, that's I'm like, bro, I ain't getting it. I'm not emotionally, I'm not mentally messed, I'm not that. But bro, there was a story. Someone sent me a story of a British, just a British national saying he was a prisoner of war, he's getting cattle prodded. And I was thinking, I was like, oh, is this like a guy that was over from like the World Cup or some shit? It was one of the guys that went over to fight for Ukraine. I think we can get cattle prodded in jail, bro. I don't know what you want to do being in a Russian fucking prison in Ukraine. Like, just as a complete foreigner. You ain't even a fucking, like, give me a break, bro.
You get captivated by the words and the propaganda.
They're all selling that everything.
You didn't really, like, count the cost. You didn't think it through because you weren't built for that. You're over here in merry old England. You don't know what it's like over there, the Eastern Bloc. It's different. Them niggas eat babies for breakfast. And they wash it down with fucking vodka and little fire. They're a different kind of breed. But they've been made for the food of man's love. That's why we read in Revelation 13th chapter, the feet of the beast of God. The bear. So the bear speaks of what the tabernacle foundation, the feet. You see why I think that.
Well, yeah. That's good. Second Edwards 5 and 50. When I asked him, said, wait. Oh, no. 51. It says, he answered me and said, 2 Edwards 5, 51. He answered me and said, ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, wherefore are unto they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? And she shall answer thee, that they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. So are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old have passed over the strength of youth. Yeah. So as the generations go on, people have got less of stature. But then as well, it says what? When over the course of time, the longer like the longer go from when she like starts her period up until menopause, the longer you wait on that timeline to have kids as well, that affects the stature of the kids. And that's something you've seen grow in modern society as well, where people have kids later and later. that's also having an impact. So the men you've got in the modern day, they're going to be going into the wars. They're not even of the same caliber as like the kids that went into World War One or World War Two. That stature, that caliber's been taken even from that stage, let alone going back to 2000 years. That's where it was. Now it's people are completely unprepared for what's going to go down. The mindset is shifting. Where now it's like, by and large, most people aren't anything. I think it's going to be over this one. No. Temple's there.
Temple here?
What does it say? But yeah, in the Second War, people getting jacked up, same as, but they call it what? They called it the greatest generation. Then as time's gone on, now you got to the point where masculinity is even looked at as some form of enemy. So yeah, the traditional masculinity is now viewed as toxic trait.
The reason why I say that is because I think it's actually fucked up shit. With toxic. There's two masculine traits. Right? Like man being a man. Just because man being a man means that a woman. Well, then, I know what I'm saying, but I can't articulate vision from this book of Proverbs 16:4. The Lord Yahweh made all things to himself, yea, even the wicked from their evil. And this is why we're in this time period again right now. As the Lord said in the book of Ecclesiastes, third chapter, basic quote to talk. He said that for every time there is everything under the sun in a time, it's a paraphrase. Right? And basically, it goes into a time for love, a time for peace, a time for war, a time for hate. Right? So we're basically in a time of war, a time of evil. But that's because what has happened, as Rob read it out, that's the degenerative process that takes place upon earth, but it's evil to magnify itself to the heavens. Right? So, in the same book that you read from, the book of Exodus, that basically said that the time that you see today should get even worse than the things that you've heard of before and even what you see now. And now it's happening in this time period that we're presently in right now. Right? What more?
Yeah. 1 Corinthians 11, start from 2, it says, Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is the anointed, which is Yahushua, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the anointed Yahushua is the Most High. And that's the order that was delivered, and that's part of now what has been thrown into flux. These things now that's an order that basically keeps things running smooth, and that's part of what in the current wicked times has been thrown into flux. And that also is then why what traditional masculinity has been thrown in the bin, even like to try and establish a household like it was like 50, 60, 70 years ago. It isn't even possible just because you ain't going to be able to, rarely is someone actually going to be able to make enough money to support, it's a good example is The Simpsons. Because at the time The Simpsons came out in the 90s, it was basically like working a run-of-the-mill kind of job where you ain't gone to college. You'll be able to support like a 3-bedroom house, like a family of 2, and a dog. Three kids, a dog, etc. That would be something you can survive with. And then it was like they had the whole episode where you have to get a second job so that you can pay a pony for Lisa. But then by and large, it was just like him to run it.
Now you just said something to yourself. Let's get a second job. Something
But then that's why it's like as the time's gone on, it's like people now look at Simpsons like, well, yeah, you need a sex job, right? Yeah. And then it's just like, here we get a 3-bed house and having, that's looked at like an absolute insanity. Because Marge don't even work. Marge, it was a thing when Marge, anytime Marge like got a job, it would just be a thing like, well, you didn't really like her work. And that was a choice that we made. Now, if your wife ain't working, you got 3 kids, it's a 3-bed house, you gotta be making like, you gotta have like top 3 5% job to be able to make enough to fund that kind of lifestyle.
But you gotta cover hers and yours expenses.
And then all the bills continue to go up. And then you gotta have defenses against the future as well. So you gotta be stacking.
So really, it's like a top 5% job. So that's why,
Yeah, well, the thing is, even with what do you call it, supporting that, it's like once you get to a certain level of wealth and accommodation, you got a certain kind of lifestyle that goes with it.
God damn, it ain't working.
What was I gonna say? So to go back to well, read it again. Revelation 11:14. The second woe is past, but behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So yeah, the third woe that cometh quickly, and people are gonna, it's going to be even more of a shock for people as well, because there's a key differentiator with that third woe as well. Isaiah 9:5, it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." And yeah, the magnitude of destruction is going to be inside in this world is going to be different. Because it's going to be what? When it goes nuclear. It's going to get to the point where nuclear missiles fly, which is something that hasn't occurred in a war context before. And as well, that's why it's like the people that are going to get involved, their mindset's not even going to, well, just the general climate, the whole world's basically going to be unprepared.
Let me read this. I mentioned the scripture. 2 Ezra 5:1. Nevertheless, as coming, the tokens, behold, the days shall come, that they which dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. And a land that thou now seest now to have root, shall thou see waste and sunk. That's it.
Yeah, man.
There might be some more concerning.
Yeah. Jeremiah 30 and 30:5. For thus saith the Lord Jehovah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. And that's how it's gonna roll. That's why the magnitude of men has been changed. The degree to which, the level of what even testosterone level. You go back to what was the study? It said
man in his 20s, born post 2000 or something like that, has his testosterone levels of an 80-year-old in the 1950s or something.
Yeah, because and it's not just lifestyle; it's also a matter of pollution of microplastics, diet, a variety, just the lifestyle changes and whatnot. Those things have basically impacted to where men are just not on the same grade as they were previously. Which then you just look at it, it's plain as day. So it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall not, but he shall be saved out of it. So yeah, that's the time's gonna be great. That time of Jacob's trouble. But hey, those are the elect who will be saved out of it. By and large, it's gonna be most men, most women are gonna be like looking like women in travail with their hands on their stomachs. It's gonna get wrong. The fact that that's what I was gonna say. You have to say, hard men good times make weak men make hard times make strong men make good times. You have that saying, that applies in this instance as well, because when we're dealing with the Western world, especially as the main focus, we've got such a level of abundance and ease that have been applied to most people for the longest period of time. That's why they're completely they've got no relationship with hardship. That's why you'll get people where they'll be like, oh, you saying certain things. Man, I was reading an article on it was like Taylor Swift had a new music video. Then in it she steps on the scale, and then the scale goes so fast. And then it was like, I watched the video just by trying to came up. I saw that, I was like, it's just allowed to say fat like that. Lo and behold, like a day later, I see an article saying like, Taylor Swift removes, the words fat, and people on Twitter just being like, I can't believe you used that language, it's so harmful. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Like, what the fuck are we even, what were we even doing here? Like, the point is, honestly, like, Taylor Swift ain't even fat. It's basically highlighting the mental illness side, but then they're so emotionally distraught anyway, because they're that soft that they're losing their minds anyway. I was like, bro, people are bugged out, man. People are they spend too much fucking time on social media, frying their brain on TikTok, bro. Like, I'm like, bro, what the hell are you even doing? But that's the mindset where when you bring in actual hardships, like what the cost of living going up, the cost of energy, all these different aspects, people will be feeling the burn of more and more. So then what? So then when actual conflict comes, they're not going to be prepared. That's why you have preppers and whatnot blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, because people can see. So for example, the brother mentioned it earlier, he said what? Like, if you're paying any kinds of attention to what's going on in the world, you feel there's something in the air. You don't feel right. Like Beanie Siegel said, like, you feel it in there. Because why? It's everyone can anticipate. There's so many different factors kind of coming together. When the monetary system was it's still riding on the coattails of 2008 crash. They've basically been prolonging that complete economic crash from occurring, and that's basically magnified its impact.
But that's why they've now put Rishi Sunak into office. He actually came out, and you had the previous debate between Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss, where they basically going back and forth with economics in terms of what they plan to implement. And, well, we know that Liz Truss attempted to implement Trussonomics and failed, valiantly. Fell in her face. But I told you what, and what was her economic standpoint? Let's spend our way out of this. Let's keep spending. Spend, basically. But then what wind up happening? They said
The 1997 Labour thing.
why happened? No one had faith in it. The pound lost its strength. All kinds of shit wind up happening in the market.
Yeah, the pension was ready to go.
Yeah. And then now they put in the Rishi. The most Rishi talking about doing, talking about we have to Yeah, austerity. That's really the best way to like you know, shorten it, conclude it. Basically, just talk about summarizing. That's what it's the best way to summarize it. Austerity, right? So what did I tell you right now? He's saying that we're gonna have to deal with the crash, basically. Or well, what I took from it is that what he's saying is there's going to be a crash.
Yeah, shit's gonna get harder.
And yeah, and on top of that, we had he's a big backer of Bitcoin, right? So he wants to move towards CBDC, the central bank digital currency, all right? So him saying that, what does that let you know? Let you know it's going to be hard times, probably going to be that crash. Then they're going to bring about the CBDC and bring about the micro, you know what? Micro C-hip, right? Which basically will bring about the market peace, right? So that's what time we're in right now. And remember, this is the thing about, because I see the Common Sense Show on YouTube, what is a journalist who's got a news channel, and he's basically saying that, yo, America should be ignorant. Whatever happens in the UK, well, they said something like, everyone in UK knows that you're next, or something to that effect. That basically whatever's happening over here is going to have a ripple effect world over, right? And that's the fact, because right now we're actually in the city of London, one of the city-states, resource kingdom, and this being the city-state of what? The finances. And funny enough, when you deal with that, I didn't even realize, it's only because I use it as a DLR, the doctors and banks are like interlinked. I'm sure somewhere in the history they say the DLR line is built between banks and doctors, mainly because the banks are. But the point being, the reason why I said that, down in Canary Wharf, what they have, they're showing Ripple. They're showing that everyone should be buying to Ripple. I didn't get a chance. I went past the line to work. I went so fast, in bank, they got the same thing now. It popped up on Thursday, Friday morning, it just popped up there. I was like, what? Ripple again. So that's what made me, that's where it clicked now. Okay, banking, yeah, it makes sense. Banking district. They're both banking districts in London. And they're both privatized banking districts as well. You can't do certain things in bank. You can't do certain things over there. Yeah, it's like private land, private property. Where they're basically got their own set of laws. Yeah. How you can conduct yourself. That's why they have done security system. But that's how that's how rate is. When it comes to the monetary side, that's its own world, it's its own system. You can't really just have that. It's even and security wise as well. That's changed. I remember it's like with Parliament, you see them school companies. But then after I can't remember what year was it? They put the fence around it. Remember we did the first time we recorded in front of it. They didn't have the fence. Then afterwards we came back to the fence. Like the whole oh yeah, they came in like the security guards and companies were there regularly. But then before, like it didn't happen. And that's why it's like in London, you've had that even the stations. The stations before you didn't used to have police, especially companies. Oh yeah. British Transport, yeah. Now you have like, all stations, all the international ones. There'll be just companies roaming around casual as you please. And UK ain't like the US where companies are standard. That's only in certain spots. It's crazy because I even live in inner city London, so I frequent a lot of these things so much that it's like, yeah, being drugged out in UK, man. Sidearm, rifles, kind of like wrong. Kind of wrong. So there's a vibe.
so cool.
Yeah.
What are you guys trying to do? Just informing?
Well, no, well, we're definitely informing. That's the intention. But what we're doing is, if you're familiar with the sign of these nations, be familiar with the Bible and how the old prophets risen up to basically get the people in order.
You guys are true believers?
True believers, yes, most believers. Well, how about yourself?
Not perfect. Perspective.
Oh, okay. I hear you. Well,
just God's not my friend, so.
why'd you say that? Okay.
Because I believe that there is someone that is.
But that may be a reason.
Political use.
I get that. Yeah. No, but I get that. So you deal with that. Yeah, that's what you're dealing with. Like you said, you see, that's how it's happening. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But when you deal with the scripture, you go into the Bible, there's obviously what's actually outlined within the words. That's what we adhere to, and that's where we get, the origins, these tribes, linking them up through there on the page. That's something we do according to God. That's something we deal with through the words. Then it's the same thing with what you in modern day, the times we're in now. Now we're in a time where prophecy is happening. There's a lot of things going on. Say again. Okay. Because basically right now, the pandemic, all these kind of things, all written inside the Bible. Ukraine, Russia, that's the complete but even those biblical prophecies, Daniel 7, will come to pass right now. Even Brexit in the Bible as well. Fair? I mean, it's prophecy coming to life. That's where it is. Because in reality, even more is going to happen. You see how everyone... that's the Bible. Yeah. All of these things. But that's the thing, when really the reason why science or society moves, really is moving to the point of science and destruction. So, like nuclear warfare basically brought about great things about technology.
Yeah, but it all came from
That's it. That's the point. That's it. Yes. So, you ever played Civilization? Technology, nuclear power, nuclear weapons, other technology, printing press. I mean, everyone keeps saying there's other forms of technology to use. There is hope because there is a lot of what's just like plastic. Yeah. That's it. And Oh, you saw it right on TV.
And shall deceive many, and ye shall have wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things are your trouble. So, reading them from the point when it's outlined. Ye shall have wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass for the end of the world.
Now, this is the thing that a lot of people say. It's been wars forever. So what is it now? Everyone's always going to go and say, like this. But there's an understanding of what war is being spoken of. The war that's being spoken of really, you guys into right. The book of Revelation 9:13, you know about three woes. It says woe, woe, woe. The Revelation, Revelation 9 is going into World War I. When you read it, but it's all in a very parabolic form. You'd have to read, it's like a puzzle, you know, the index for a puzzle is the whole of the Bible. You have to read the whole thing to know that, when it says this, that means that, that's what it is. So that's why you wouldn't understand it if you know the Bible. But then it speaks of three world wars, and then as you progress through, it says the two wars are past, or one war is past, two more follow on thereafter. Then Revelation 8 then Revelation. You have to. You can't come out here and do nothing. We don't really know it. Okay, nice. But the main point is transhumanism. The mark of the beast is a microbe. So you see the transhumanism thing, and even I mentioned in that, the only way to come back was robots and monsters, robots. That's all the guys to control. Yeah, they're trying to control people, make them take them off. Yeah. Yeah. What's your name, by the way? Mike. He was like, but I had to ask, because you know, if people come up, they got a spiritual name. But yeah, so might as well carry it around this. Because a lot of the time, the main thing that's gonna really distinguish people is the prophecies that are spoken in the Bible. Right? There's a few main prophetic words in the book. You know, that in terms of being the times that what's happening in these times and what they mean. Years ago, Ezekiel 2 and 9, and when I looked, behold, a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe. I can't remember what was in reference. He says that. This in the book, this book. Basically, it's what's within the book. Lamentation, mourning and woe. Breaking down as a way. Yeah. Go into what it means. Because as far as with when we're dealing with what's been written, the coming time, present time, really, lamentation, mourning, and woe. That's what's getting ready to start. And I'll drop basically and I'll drop basically the part telling you about fucked up shit that's gonna happen. The only reason why the prophet fucked up tell you about the doom that's gonna happen. That's why the book was sealed. multiple, myriad examples. When you deal with Samuel coming into the town, they basically ask him to come for our goods. But they're weary. A man like that coming into the town, it meant quite a lot. It weren't a light thing. Right? Matthew 24, 6, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And like the brother mentioned, it's like the time of wars. It's like when that's speaking of, how do you highlight the line up now? Hey, that's where you need to go walk precept upon precept, line upon line, to piece it all together. Because as far as there's other prophecies, obviously spoken of war as well. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And yeah, funny for the famine, I just got a headline that said Russia's basically killing the deal for Ukraine to get the grain out. The deal they did to get the grain, where they're both going to allow grain to go out the ports in Ukraine, they're meant to be bringing that to an end. So with them doing that, then, us, dozens of people crushed by large crowds, might as well read it to them. Well, I just got a notification saying dozens of people crushed by large crowds at Halloween festivities in South Korea, which again that shows the spirit of that Halloween, man. It's like it's a death festival. So festival to reference, the Day of the Dead. So it's only right that. What is it? Shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrow. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And that's something that, plainly shown. The most current example to go to would be with Mr. West. Kanye basically being cancelled, his contract being done. I'm like, bro, I didn't even know this guy had a school. Man said they just shut down the school. So there were kids where they would have been like, they might have been about to graduate, they might have had like life prospect to drive these guys to that school. And because this guy said what he said, now it's that's what's thrown in the bin. Adidas said like, oh, we're gonna still use your designs, but yeah, we're not working with that guy. Technically, I mean, from what I understand, he has a country, he owns the rights to all of that stuff. So they can probably get sued. But they don't think they like to have but that all stems off what? Of them talking about, the group that you mentioned. It's funny because it said, so I was even watching like Long Beach Griffin did a skit on it like hours after the shit happened. Saying like, you never talk about it, like making a joke out of it, obviously. Saying like, you never talk, just don't ever talk about it. Like, why? That's the one thing you got enough to do. And then because lo and behold, so it's like, lo and behold, he talks about it, and then what? It's like, fuck it, been completely thrown in the bin. And everyone else regurgitates the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Anti-Semitism.
Yes, 100%.
what did he say that's anti-Semitic? He didn't actually say nothing anti-Semitic. He said you can't speak about one set of people. If you speak about it, you'll get cancelled. That's what he said. And he said, well, you might say I hate Jewish people. Now that's not anti-Semitic. That's anti-Jewish, yes, but that's not anti-Semitic.
But that's why it's like, well, I was thinking, like, imagine, man is taking a whole, like,
The whole Bronx.
like,
And you know, the gravity of what they're saying is, bro, everyone's Shemitic except for, and it's not Semitic, it's Shemitic. Everyone's Shemitic except the Polynesians and the fucking Africans. You know how crazy that is? That's what I was thinking. I was like, two continents.
I was like, bro,
are not fucking Shemitic, but the whole world is Shemitic. Everyone else is Shemitic.
I seen some East Indians talking about it. I was like, bro,
You don't even know you're
you're
Shemitic.
Shemitic. Like, you know how funny it is? But that's why it's like,
This man makes it confuse the whole world.
yeah. But then it's
Turn everything
yeah.
upside down.
The thing is, you know, if you were to pull some East Indian package, then you know, then you're just racist. But then if you say anything about Jews, then they have a special designation of anti-Semitic. You know, there's racist, the racist and anti-Semitic.
The forbidden zone.
Yeah, the forbidden zone.
Forbidden zone, yeah. You're gonna be in a
Like in the glove. Frozen. But that's how much a special designation they've given themselves. It's like that's why the thing is as far as it's like Adidas was gonna get cancelled as well.
Yeah. And they know they didn't want to
Everyone
get rid of
associated
Kanye.
was like, yo,
They know they tapped into the American market. And not the American market alone. We're talking about the black, the African American
yeah,
market.
you know,
That's the
homeless niggas got Jordan.
pair of Yeezys, man. So they were making good plans over there. Good money, hand over fist. Which is exactly why they don't want to advertise it.
Said about 50 people with cardiac arrest. What the fuck happened there? Look at the shit. Let me see if they got it.
Musk, Elon Musk, and then they allowed Trump back coming. Which I mean, yeah, what it is.
Bro, these guys are fucked. My bare man is just not. Something like he must be passed out. That's wild. Yeah, it's kind of unclear. But there's just hella people on the ground getting given like what, CPR? Like hella people. Yeah, an hour ago someone said 30 down, and now they're saying it's more. Guys. Oh, this guy is the fact that I'm trying to get yeah. Do you have time?
So you're starting off.
So Matthew 24 and 10 it says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And yeah, people are getting hella offended. What's going on with Kanye? It's like that's the peak of offense as far as in a modern day. Because like what? Man has just done, and that's the thing now. Is you do anything, every business alignment, they want you to never have a job, they want you to not even be able to walk outside. With without you able to do anything.
And that's really going into what social credit system. And that's all, it's all integrating what? The beast system. Alright? So basically if you don't have a good social standing, alright, we're gonna cut off the lifestyle, your livelihood, your ability to maneuver within society is gonna be cut off basically. And that's what's really gonna allow them to thrive because as we know, the time we're in, men are not men. When we say that men are not men, we mean it as if they don't take the helm of their household, they can't stand up to the authorities. Women ain't gonna do it.
Or they're not sovereign.
Because they're actually part and parcel of the society. I did that because she was laughing. If only you knew. But basically, yeah, men are not men. So that's the only actual, when that's being said, men are not men, that's the only resistance we offer to the society. In terms of them integrating their system. Women, they got all their goodies they got right. It's the best time is there as far as they're concerned. Never got there upon the earth.
What Roe v. Wade shows us is basically like the current composition of society, the current makeup, the current layout is basically to their benefit. As far as, that's why it's like, I was reading something earlier about like Game of Thrones, and then it was like, there was like a comment just saying like, women like, men, like before, it was like, they were just like, it was basically no different from slaves. And then the guy was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, if you're saying like being a woman was the same as slave, I'm saying if you're well off, then you're doing very well. You're able to lounge, you're able to do all sorts of things. Like, you're completely disconnected from reality. But that's why, because in the modern age, with basically the post-women's liberation, they basically have just played in all history, like before the 60s, a woman never had a right whatsoever. But that's something that really only applies to women.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But there's like what? When you think with women, it's like, of course they don't apply the rights before. And the way they were, and especially if they were on some level of royalty or noble and they came from somewhere with money, then they'll be able to maneuver. They'll be able to maneuver themselves. They're gonna obviously be in the, be in the fields, putting up the ears of corn. It would have been like what? Like through medieval times. They would have to get married off, they'll have to have kids. But otherwise, what? They're going to do what? They're going to be in charge of social affairs. They're going to be, they might be making clothing, raising the kids, doing a variety of things.
But then, we've got to say, women were in slavery, what, 50 odd years ago, 70 odd years ago. What were men then? Take care. What were men? Well, men weren't in slavery as well. And slavery to bring money off to them.
Look after to bring stuff to them.
For what they weren't in captivity.
That's a big bread.
No, that's why I said it's so cool.
Don't make it bread.
Because you know how they like to say.
I use that as an analogy.
Yeah. But that's really it. So when you really look at it, what's really being said? They're really saying women want a free ride.
And it's just, and the thing is anyway, it's a different society, establishment of how things are working. And now it's a what? As far as full liberation, that's a new thing. That's a brand new thing that's come about.
And they've been liberated, emancipated, and have some faith.
Part and parcel with that is a complete destruction of the family unit.
Yeah.
That's what was actually achieved. To basically have women have full liberation. Because even for men are like, men were relying on women to build any form of household, any form of legacy, regardless. Men had their role to play, women had their role to play.
They both had a job.
Yeah. But then now it's basically, that's why, like the prophet said, men ain't men. Everything's been thrown Isaiah 29:16. Surely you're turning from 15. Woe unto you, verse 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord Jehovah, and their works are in the and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us, who knows us?
Alright, to the point, what were you saying about people that got turned up from the side? I'm trying to remember.
Huh?
Before that was by rapper. But if I can't remember, it's very powerful. Yeah, about it.
Says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as a potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? And that's basically what happens when you throw out the core unit on which civilization is built. But regardless of what anyone says, that family unit is the bedrock of any society, any civilization. You need family units to basically even have a civilization. If people aren't having kids, then it's done. It's a wrap. That's why they call it what replacement, just having enough kids. You know, for replacement, how many people in the country? Because if you have a whole generation die off, then there's like no people left. Then it's like a bunch of shit ain't going to be working. And then you had, well, that's why you had mentioned China did the one-child policy. And then during that time, what were they doing? Everyone wanted to have sons. So then they weren't even keeping daughters. And now you got to where there's like over 50 to 60% of the younger generation of male. There's not enough women to go around. And then that's fucked up all the relationship dynamics. Because women know basically what. But there's men waiting, like, there's multiple men desperate to get a woman. And then as well, it's like the standards of what you need to even after marriage are getting higher and higher. And the economy is not even doing as well as it once was. So it's like they're running into the same things that happen. Basically, and it's all when you adopt Esau's system. When you work with Esau's system, that's when you then basically engage with the destruction of that core family unit to then have what? You know, have monetary success, find certain types of financial success, certain kinds of technologies. You know, you have access to the pill, you have access to women in the workforce, you have access to all these things to build up the country, but then you've also taken on all the issues, which is why they're all going the same way. The only reason in the West, well, the UK, whatever, hasn't hit the same levels as like Korea, Japan, China, is because of immigration. There's more immigration that happens over here, and it's coming from what? Places where people actually have kids. A lot of the like Elon, Jake, whatever, they'll still have kids. In America, Northern Kingdom, they still have kids. But then what? You know, that's why they're saying like by 2050, whites could, so-called, whites could be a minority in America. You can get to 2050, but that's funny as hell. Then what? That's everything's been flipped. It's meant to have just been nothing but bliss and goodness and happiness for everyone. But lo and behold, that brings with its own issues. What Matthew 20? That says, back in Matthew 24, verse 11, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. That's something as well. It's plain as day. Iniquity is abounding. And that's a big part of what Esau's goal is. That's why he's allowed to push it one of women's these different things results in what? In wickedness abounding, confusion abounding. Because as far as it's like as all these issues have now arisen, you know, what's the solution? How's it going to be dealt with? They're looking at utilizing technology when there's a simple fix. People say like, oh, you know, women should be fine having kids into their 40s, late 30s.
That's not what it was.
You read the scripture earlier. That as a woman, like when it's fresh, you have way less issues. Yeah? Then once you get towards menopause, you're struggling.
Because the men old, the bruise, the food. That's why they stop. That's why there's congruent. There's a word called that goes congruent. You read that word. Because the brother read Isaiah 29 and 15 and 16. That word basically tells you a whole lot. Right? The word congruent, in agreement or harmony. The rules may not be congruent with the requirements of the law, right? It comes, the origin of the word comes from con being together and burer, which is food or rush, congruent, which means agreeing, meeting together. So it's basically saying it just agrees, it's harmonious. And that's the way the world is, it's harmonious. Like, the best way for you to have a substantial rest time is basically what? Go to bed when it moves within the circadian rhythm of the man's life. But I'm trying to formulate sentences that make sense. Basically, the best way for you to rest your body properly is to follow the circadian rhythm, which basically is when it gets dark outside, when the sun goes down, you go to bed as well. And when the sun comes up, you wake up to the sun. That's called congruence, right? That's everything working harmoniously. But now the way the world works is the sun goes down, but I don't want to go down. We're going to stay up and I'm going to go to bed in the morning when the sun's up. And then complain the sun is in my eyes, I can't sleep properly. That's the way the world is right now, right? Because everything has a function and a use. And it's meant to be utilized as such. If it doesn't get used in that manner, then it's going to be things that are going to happen that are going to let you know that you're using it improperly, right? And that's what you're basically seeing in this day and age. The world is being turned on its head. And that's why you got all this madness going on right now in this world, right? But this is all a lesson for who? For the elected Heavenly Father, and really for the whole world to know, to point at that time and indicate, yeah, that was the time, that time was fucked up, man. That time was a real fucked up time on the earth. We was doing this, we was doing that. And really what they're going to say is they were doing all the things you find normal today. It's like when you read about Sodom and Gomorrah, the Bible, what it tells you, it says there was a perverse time on the earth, or the time of Noah's Ark. So the same thing. But if you go back and you look at it, you probably say, oh, that wasn't even that bad. Because now we're in a whole lot more generated. Yeah. The other side of it is people think it's more liberated, more free, more like people think they're wiser than those who came before. But then you can look at like a newspaper, how people read. People don't even read news. That's why I remember when I was in college, I had to do basically do research into newspapers and their readership and how they'd adjusted like what they do in newspapers over time. Because why? Because people weren't reading newspapers. The most read newspaper in the UK was The Sun, which anyone in the UK will know. The Sun is basically just Oh, it's because of page 3.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was going to say, page 3's got a pair of tickets. And then the rest of it is basically nonsense. There'll be like 10 to 12 pages of sports, and the sports starts at the back. So most people just they'll look at page 3, be like, that's a nice pair. Flip to the back, check the sports, check what happened in the football, check where they're at the table.
But there'll be some funny stories in there as well. You know,
Some nonsense that went down.
And then you have like little comic books and all that type of shit.
Oh yeah.
Formula One and then
was it Deirdre?
yeah.
The relationship is like
Agony on.
They have the horoscopes. But then, you know, the actual news, any kind of actual serious news, you might only get 3-4 pages.
And that's going to be real serious for it to make it fun. And even the way they present it would be a very witty part front. That kind of, you know, let you know that, this is going to be kind of comfortable.
Yeah.
So that was a hook.
But then what, the newspapers where it was like, what, the Financial Times, all the ones that basically were, not tabloids, what's the term I'm looking for? Because there's tabloids and then there's, I don't even remember, because it's basically the big ones where they fall down. Those like like Financial Times, the ones where they're reporting on business deals, they're reporting on different companies, economic situations. They're reporting on what do you call it, geopolitical situations as well. The actual goings on of the world. Those things, ain't no one reading them. They have to charge like £3.50 on a newsstand, or have subscriptions where people get sent to them. And even their websites online, they have to charge, because why? Otherwise, they're not going to be able to make any money. They're not getting enough readership. I remember when I did the research, it was like the Sun had 900,000 on readership on a daily basis. And then the other newspapers, like the closest was 100,000, but then it would go down. And that was at the time when Metro and Evening Standard, you started the free newspapers that just started. And now when you deal with the free newspapers, they have higher readership, but then even for them, they're not really, you have City AM, which is the one that's meant for people that are in bank in those areas where they're city workers. That one's meant for them, City AM, where that one comes out super early. That's for people going to work in these areas. There ain't no City AM getting dispensed in the hood. They ain't getting no City AM to any area where Jake's prevalent now. That's where people go to make money. The newspapers are just for everyone, the general public. No, you know, they don't deal with things on a serious level. Because why? The minds of people have been fried.
And they call it broadsheet. I know it's probably called science.
And I think there's a particular term.
But they call it broadsheet.
It's one of those where it's fucking colossal. We can't really read it like held down. But it's like whenever you go back to like the 50s, you always have the dad with a huge ass newspaper reading it, checking the news, talking about what's going on. But it was the main thing that threw it off was what TV. After TV came in, because you had radio, but then even with radio, you didn't have it as like it wasn't where you walking around with a Walkman or whatever, able to listen to the radio. It would be something you listen to at home. The TV really is where it came, destroyed that. Because TV brought a different style of consumption. And that was over time, especially with the generation that grew up on TV, your attention span's affected. Same thing with now. You got kids that grow up with smartphones, with tablets, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, from when they're free. That's why it's like there's people say there's like they'll have like 1-year-old nieces and nephews, then they'll know how to navigate an iPhone perfectly. Because why? They've grown up in it, so they're basically just taking it up super quick. But then what? That affects like your
different level of management I know what you're saying. It affects the way you think.
yeah.
That's why they have a different social etiquette because of the use of social media and these types of things. Like even when I had, I don't want to put up, I'll say that way. Even now in the dating environment, there'll be certain apps you can use because they can garner more of an understanding. Like for example, Snapchat. Like I just found out on Snap. There's like an individual I've been speaking to on there. And basically the more you speak to that individual, it gives you different awards. So you get different things come up about your relationship with that individual. Now they put emojis. So I just had one recently and spurred me to look into it. So they made me realise, oh, so that's why she wanted me to speak on this. Because then she could measure my interests. So it's the same thing with Instagram and all these different types of things. They can look at you, you present your best, the highlights, the best of everything. You went on holidays to Cancun, you was down in Marbella, went over to Mykonos, you know, you saw the sunset, you saw the hot air balloons in Cappadocia, you know, we did some shit. And then they have if you got a higher social standard amongst, in the eyes of the woman, right? But now, that's the new wisdom, basically. That's how everyone thinks. But see, and the reason why I said that is because I don't know that shit. I'm just thinking you just use it to use it. It's a form of social media. You know what I mean? But there's actual use. They have a understanding. You know, I don't use email address this. I don't do that. If I do that, this will happen. They don't know certain things. 2 Timothy 3:13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived, but continue down the things which thou hast learned, and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned. But yeah, evil men and seducers shall wax worse. And that's by and large the general populace, man. They've all become evil men and seducers. Because that's basically the mindset that's been bred in this current time. So I was saying that's why it's like even talking about the newspapers, being informed on issues, being informed on what's going on in the world, which at one point was of importance, has now what? Fallen by the wayside. People will know what's the new one that started out. Love is Blind? Love is Blind, I think it's called. That's I've been told about. That's one of the new reality TV shows where you know, people basically you're not going to see each other, but then it's like, you know, you decide to get engaged, get married without being able to see someone. And then it's like what these different all these different what do you call it? All these different like reality shows. That's what people will be tuned in on. People will be tuned in on, you know, the latest entertainment franchises, the latest releases as far as clothes go, the latest album. When Rihanna drops the track for Black Panther 2, then you know, that's everyone knows about it, everyone's got an opinion. But then you talk about, oh yeah, what do you think about what do you think about Rishi's financial policy? People are like, huh? What? You know, they don't know Rishi's in there. They don't know what he's doing. You know Rishi Sunak, 5'6". No way. Right. He's a fucking hella small. Those pictures of him, two dudes next to people. And honestly, like that is fucking funny, bro. I don't know how he got away with that for so long. I thought he's tall. I thought he's like 6 foot.
Nah, he's 5'6". His wife is 5'4". 5'7". He's tough for the wearing a shoes. But yeah, by and large, hey, that's the way everyone's moving now. They're down with the wickedness, man. And that's why it's things are, well, what is it? Like the alphabet agenda, the alphabet gang. These guys, like everyone's basically like, oh, I'm an ally, I'm with them, promoting it. That's why they see it as something righteous. Meanwhile, it's been unwicked and unrighteous according to the scriptures for the longest. That's why it's like now is a time where people are promoting people to destroy themselves. I watched the video before I was here, where it was like, bruh, there was a fashion brand, and they said they got two trans women to talk about motherhood and being a woman. Why do you niggas had a beard, man? I was like, bro, what? I was like, what am I even? I was like, this is insane. I was like, this is actual madness. I was like, you're actually gonna like, and then, obviously people started saying like, look, let's boycott this brand. Because what the fuck is this nonsense? Which real talk? What, like, why the hell? Who the hell is gonna go? And it was funny as well, because one of them only been like, how many weeks? Like 6 weeks or something. I ain't even been that long. I ain't even been like a year since they've gone from being a man to now apparently being a woman. And then they're saying like, oh. And I was just like, bro, what? Like, this is it's literally like someone's out there batshit crazy out of their mind. Then everyone's just like, yes, this is so great. Applause, applause. Go back in Matthew 24. Back in Matthew 24:13 says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And that's really what it is. It's about enduring to the end. Because why, as far as this is a situation where it's only going to increase in magnitude and scale, and really as far as to endure through it, you got to have a covering, man. You got to be safe. And that covering's what? How about Shem Yahusha? Read this. Revelation 2:9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. That's the work of tribulation and poverty. That's the state of being sin. But then what the riches is the knowledge, man. The truth, basically having the key of what's to come, to be able to make our way through. And then even it says what? Which say they are Jews but are not. Which going back is talking about those that are actually of the lineage that came from the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But now it applies to what? To a fruit of stone. And it says what? Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, and ye may be tried. No, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life. And that's a mindset. That's a mindset that we should aspire for. To be looking at it like, yo, be faithful unto death. And like that's something that can easily occur. It's recorded in the scriptures. What? There'll be those where they'll be what? Beheaded for the witness of Yahweh. They'll be beheaded for this work. So that's the level of what you need to prepare for in the street. And really speaking your time. It says what? That you be hated of all men for my name's sake. That's something that most people can't even abide. That's why by and large most people they dare to they'll basically just try not to ruffle the boat, ruffle feathers, and then rock the boat. They'll try not to rock the boat. They want to just keep things as smooth sailing as possible because they don't want to pay attention to themselves. There's an upper term, the nail that sticks out is hammered in.
That's apparently a good way to actually a good insight that is I believe it's the Japanese or the Koreans. That's actually a moniker. Like that's actually a moniker.
I think it's the Chinese. Well, it could be either.
Yeah,
it might be in the region.
Might be in the region. that's the whole. You can see how they get along. They have a real social stigma.
And that's
For anything that don't align with whatever they're used to for their culture.
And that's why it's in the Western world you have an individualist based culture, but then you go to the East, they have a more communal based culture. That's why certain ideas don't translate across. And that's why everyone's so headstrong. That's why certain ideals are glorified more. That's why like celebrity does. Someone amassing immense amounts of wealth or power and whatnot, because that's what everyone dreams of. They're all thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a millionaire too. Let me just look out for grind. I just need to catch this, or I need to catch. I'll do that. So you have a guy, he's 47, he's still trying to get that mixtape that lets him blow up.
That's really why these other even nations are actually surpassing the Western world, because they stick to what works, which is we ain't gonna think of ourselves in this situation. We're gonna build a foundation for the next generation, right? And that's why even Putin right now, that's going on. He's really looking at it like anyone that says no what's really going on. He's defending his nation from NATO, from them as Ukraine, right? That's the reason why their weapons, they have the ICBMs and all the other things that fall underneath it are a substantial fucking grade. Their artillery is on a different level compared to America. Why is that? Because when they fell from grace, the only way they can claw themselves back to a certain standard within the earth is by weaponry and actually
Military might.
military might. Yeah. Social standing, like building up the resources, all that type of stuff. Whereas what happened in the Western world, everyone started enjoying themselves. Yeah, I feel like I'm, a free flowing individual. I feel like I'm a furry.
Well, and that's more become since after the 60s really, because 60s had the hippie movement, then that came to end with like Sharon Tate. After that you had like the wars in Vietnam. Well, you had the Korean War, then after Vietnam was really the one where people were just like they were trying to mess with the establishment, and that's kind of been energy that each generation kind of raised up with, where they're trying to go against what society's been. And now it's taken to the extreme where it's like, even though I was a black man, and then some women came home with kids, and then it's like I realized it was two little boys, but like one of them had nail polish on, they both had their hair done long and flowing. And I was like, bro, these guys ain't even they couldn't even be 11, man. I was like, how, like, I was like, for them to be like,
I was like, you say that a hell of a lot. I'm going to tell you later. You say it so much.
I was like, well,
one of those things you got to work out in your vocabulary.
Psychologically, you got to actually recognize what I'm saying.
Yeah. You made me recognize that saying as well. That's why I'm like, nah, I ain't going to say that. Yeah. Well, I just had to say it. God damn. It's because of how we're people. I know. Well, that's why. Phase that out. It has a self-inflated, has like a self-inflated kind of projection of yourself, Speaking in third person, is it? I was like,
oh yeah.
That's why I'm saying out, that's the word I'm saying.
Yeah, thinking, I remember seeing these kids and I was like,
I knew it happened anyway. It's gonna happen.
Because they're young. Like I was like, these guys are too young to even be having thoughts about these things, unless someone's drawing these things to their attention. It's like by and large, alternativists, there's another customer I've seen. They've got a regular. It's like they have two sons. Like one of them was like when we first got to open this location, or when we first got it, it was probably the first one. Yeah, they used to live local. Now they moved into Kent. Because like they were meant to move
in
they were local to where I work.
Okay.
They were local to where I
You know
work.
there's a hood and then there's the
Yeah.
nice part. Because I never knew until I've been around the area.
Yeah.
Entered right over there.
Yeah.
And that's the most porous borough, you know.
Surprise.
But
That's
it
what
makes
was,
sense because that culture is just like you have like this up there and then you just have that down there. Yeah, basically. Okay.
But yeah, it was like with them it's like so I've known this kid basically from when I was born.
Right.
And then it's like he's well, obviously recognized me. Oh, I ran over, said hi, spoke about whatever. Then it's like so he's now like 3 years old. 3 years old. What he's turned 4. I think he's turned 4. So he's 4. So all he does is run around and make pictures. Stressing out his mom, stressing out his dad. He's got too much energy. He's got too much. He's just being sassy, whatever. But then that's just what boys do.
Got a high level of testosterone.
Because he's just too much energy. And it's like even she was climbing, he was climbing, whatever. But then it's like to go into like the way a child is kind of used to be, like to go into those channels, you know, someone has to highlight have a spirit is heavily on you from when you're young, which can happen. Or it's someone has to bring it to your attention. It's like the way I was seeing it, I was like, even the way the nail polish was, I was like, this has been done too well for fucking like 10, 11-year-olds to put done. So I was like, my mum probably did it. So then that speaks to me and says like, she's basically just kind of been like, oh well, you know, you try this, trying to push them in. And that's like how people are looking now, and that's the newest thing is what is blurring the lines of, you know, being a man, being a woman, to where it's all confusion. But then, the reality of it is what, you know, is what vanished. Because the way people are talking is like, oh, you know, eventually, you know, would you be able to get where, you know, you have a man, then you rip out one set of genitals and then put in a different set. They're looking at it like it's going to be like, what do you call it? Like in what's called the Fifth Element, or what's the other thing I was thinking of? What do you call it? Oh, well, yeah, that one, sleeves. It's called Board Carbon.
Yeah, all carbon.
What's the original one? With Harrison Ford. Blade Runner, yeah, that's the one. It's like it's going to be in the cyberpunk kind of future, where you're basically just going to be able to affect the body anyhow, anyway, just using hormones and technology, be able to bring about anything. But in reality, this, you know, they ain't anyway like it's going to come to that frontier, because now it's basically you can just like affect your hormones, use one set and boost up another, but in reality, what's that doing? Like all you're doing is basically, it's like a guy that gets out of shape, then his hormone balance gets out of flux, then what? You end up wearing fucking man boobs, man. Yeah. Well, there was, what's it called, in Fight Club, is it Bob? His name was Robert.
Oh yeah, the one that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Talk about
Robert Wilson, that's the one. Yeah, because he was a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
He was doing too much fucking steroids. He threw his, and
he couldn't produce no more testosterone naturally, basically. So
and that's what
had a high flux of estrogen.
And he didn't
hormonal.
Just throw it. Yeah. And he was basically making emotional and all that.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like you watch, like, cause I watch every now and then. Anyway, it's just interesting to see like bodybuilders talking about like cocktails, different hormones and whatnot. To basically, if you wanna like, they'll go on like Reddit where they'll start taking grams of this and what grams of this.
Sorry.
So I
How old is Jubilee temperature there?
The station temperature's there on the shooters.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
sad.
But then what? Like, yeah, they were talking about different.
That's what it's
I was coming up with something to say.
Yeah,
In the back of my mind. What was I thinking? But yeah, with these guys that are bodybuilding, take steroids, they'll basically have cocktails in it where if you're going to use something like testosterone, and then they say like if you're going to do certain things, if you're going to take like go on cycles, you need to come off cycles enough for your body to be able to naturally produce afterwards. If you overdo it, then you're going to be stuck taking testosterone for the rest of your life, or you're going to be fucked. So it's like all these things, and this is something that back in like they'll go and I can't remember. I watched one where it was going back to like how they did it in the 80s and whatnot, and they were just doing gadgets. Like they had no measures, they didn't have no kind of systems or understanding. They'll just try shit and then get results, and then it's only down the line there'll be all kinds of out of whack. So that's why it's like what they're doing is basically on like the most surface level. It's the most basic kind of understanding of impacting. You can physically make it look like X, Y, Z, but then it's like any of the systems and whatnot underneath, you're not even impacting. Because that's why it's like what they have the double mastectomy, getting both of the titties ripped off, the hysterectomy, getting the uterus ripped out. Like that's, I'm like, bro, it's, I'm like, there ain't gonna be no one left. I was like,
Gonna be Robocop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just like,
take this away from me.
his hand.
I said, okay, cool. What are you doing to me? You see his buddy, who he got left? One lung, he's, you know, connected to his esophagus and shit. Then a hand, and that's it, man. This is what we have left of you.
Yep.
That's basically what they want to do, transhumanism, man.
It's basically trying to be like, okay, we've got the means to do more. Really, it's based on a base level. Because really, you should look then, it's just like, you basically supplement testosterone, so you grow the body there, your musculature might be easier. But then, finding that it ain't the same. And same vice versa. It's like, well, actually, even with when it's men, they'll say, they'll have. Funny enough, all this mix up with surgery, fucking the medical industry making billions. Because for men, they'll say that, oh, you can get like part of your jaw removed, soften your face. You can get prosthetic breasts. All this basically money's being made of that. What do you think? Let me read this. Wisdom of Solomon 2:5 it says, "For our time is a very shadow that passeth away, and after our end there is no returning. For it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present. Let us speedily use the creatures like as a youth. Let us fill ourselves of costly wine ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass by us." That's really the mindset. That's what this indulging in wickedness to the extreme is what? Basically just endless self-satisfaction. We're basically doing and prioritizing just satisfying yourself at all costs, which then results in you're satisfying yourself at all costs. But then in reality, it's like, a good way to kind of line up is with character arcs. I did a video on this ages ago about how, like in storytelling, a good book, a woman put it together, where she said, for character arcs, you basically will have, like, a big part of the arc will be what your character wants versus what they need. And then usually it will start off with them wanting something which might not actually satisfy them or fulfill them as a person. But then through the process of the story, they need to come to realize what they need.
As opposed to what they want.
Yeah, as opposed to what they want. And that what they need is actually going to allow them to complete themselves as a person and basically, achieve what they want to achieve. And that's something that
See that in every movie.
yeah, that's a key. Well, good ones with attention. They know how to basically show, okay, we're basically making it so that he's going to come to the point where he learns the lesson in the end. That's how they have it lined up. And that's something that applies in reality. A lot of people that want, they're chasing once. That's why it goes. Yeah, it goes to peace. Because there will be people, especially most people is that now, because society's so jacked up, everyone's all bugged out. They'll got issues. They'll got all forms of, they've got various medical issues. They grow up, scarred from childhood. They might have parents that left. They might have abusive parents. They might have had like all kinds of fucked up shit. They might have been raped by their own shit. There's all kinds of jacked up shit. So especially when you deal with porn stars, like OnlyFans girls,
anyone working in like
in
one of those
sex
kind of
industry,
industries.
they'll by and large, it's like some of them you don't even look into it. You just see it. I was watching a unrelated video, and then it was like he brought up like one of the porn stars as an example. He said like, oh yeah, he said in this interview like, oh yeah, I was like my first sex experience when I was 12, it was against my will. So like, when I was older, I tried to take control of my sexual experience. I was like, bro, it's like for you to have that kind of relationship with sex, then it's something's gone very wrong at some point. For you to just let random guys nut in your face for money, like what the hell are you doing? Like that's not something that everyone just like, well, I need some money. I guess no, average girl ain't getting into it. Yeah. That's like usually I've got fucking huge ass issues going on as to why they want to do it. And speaks to a lot of things. A lot of things people do, they have issues, man. That unaddressed, where they're thinking like, oh, this is gonna fill the gap. And that's why it's like this whole being, a man becoming a woman or a woman becoming a man meant to fix that gap. We brought up before, like a few weeks back, about a woman who commits suicide after pretending to be abused for like a year or so. She was just like, yeah, men deal with so much stuff.
Yeah,
it was so fucked up. She was hilarious. She was the interview. She was destroying her. She was destroyed. She was like, I can't even. I can't even
say like a man's existence.
She was overwhelmed. She was beyond. She got destroyed. But she actually got
she
to
started
see.
actually heralding men advocating for like better relationships with men and more understanding towards
men and their issues. The way
and
they
that's
do
why
it.
I even mentioned before, I said if women were enslaved 70 years ago, 50 years ago, what were men? What do you think? So who was providing for the household? Be out to stay at home.
Yeah. You know what? There's a video of a police
kind of, we ain't even been going into the scriptures heavy. I guess that's how it is today.
It's like I read a few. It's like even though more I was going to read,
We could have been more scripture dominant.
Trying to keep up with what the spirit is like me. What was it gonna? There was because there was a tweet. Where they said he was basically talking about the way that men deal with the way like depression is treated for men versus women is completely different. Because he basically, I think he said in the tweet. Yeah, he made it to me. He basically had a tweet that said, like, why, you know, I said, why are you treating male depression the same way you treat female depression? If you want men to stop being depressed, they have to basically gain power. And it was like something that you, and it's like something I said it, and I was like, then I thought about it, and I was like, now real talk. Because
I really entertain. That's what he said. He said, because really, hey, Andrew Tate said about, they said it was insensitive, because depression doesn't exist. But what was his main point? His main point was that you give power, if you acknowledge it, means you're giving power of it over you, basically.
Yeah,
So that's the whole point. You can't allow something to have power. The main thing for a man is our power
to take action,
agency.
because that's one find between before, because I have the video, I'd have to go through the video to find it. But it was like what he's talking about, he's basically what? Like, and that's another thing as well, is like the way a lot of things, the way women do it, the way men do it, it's completely different. And they're basically trying to lump the two together. Like they're meant to be dealt with at the same time. I'm like, nah. That's things like, bro, if a woman's depressed, that's throw that. I ain't even got any, I don't like nothing. I've got no interaction with that. As a man, I don't even, it's like if a woman's upset, I'm gonna exist and not be as emotional. That's all I can do. That's all I can do.
That's the best course of action, because try and aid a woman in her, you know, in her what's that called, the worst of times. It's basically like wanting to blast your brains out, man. You ain't gonna
So let's talk depression and how it differs for men and women. Men become depressed when they perceive a lack of control over their environment and their own feelings, when the pain won't stop. Women become depressed when they feel unloved and useless to their family. Men need control. They need to feel like they can affect change. Men need a mission and the belief that they can accomplish it. And with this embrace, a man will endure any trial. He said, what helplessness and perceived impotence, drag a man into depression. Prolonged helplessness turns into hopelessness, which indicates this very rate on that depression. A man with zero hope is a man looking for a permanent way out, regardless of consequences. Like it's what? Taking action. That's the key thing. And it's a matter of perception. Because the reality is, you know, if you're a man on planet Earth, there's things you can do to rein in your situation. That's something that's why it's like for women, it's a completely different ballgame. Versus for men. Women, a lot of times they won't have shit they can do. You know, if she's getting roundhouse kicks and uppercuts and getting somersault kicks, you know, from Forest Law up in the house, then a lot of times they ain't able to do shit. There's been them times where women have been abducted. Then it's like it'll get to the point where the guy will be like, okay, go to the store, and they should go to the store and come back. Don't even run away. Because their mind's so caged in. But hey, that's why with these modern times now, everything's been flipped up. Basically, even the understanding of like the roles of not having an understanding of roles of men and women. That then
become
just
a gender war.
Everything else just
That's part of the gender war. The fact that no one understands, if everyone had a clear cut understanding as to why a man does this and a woman does that, there wouldn't be no conflation of gender warfare. right? It wouldn't be no confusion as to why men and women are at odds.
Men would be about their purpose.
Yeah,
Women would
it
be
is about their purpose. But where it's been, the lines have been blurred, now no, it's brought about confusion.
As they say, it's for what? Now you have the freedom to make the choice to do whatever. But then what's the knock-on effect? You basically then have mass confusion.
Because you have certain people not manning their post. If you say I don't have to stand here no more and guard this door, I can go over there and do whatever I want. I've got it. But then that means the doors left unattended. Attended, sorry. Someone can just pull up. That's the basic. Men are straying away from here, man. That's why you have today got fuck boys, type of shit. City boys, yeah, certain boys. And that's why you got city girls and fox and 304s and all this, like junjas and real because people not manning their posts.
I'll read this verse. Isaiah 32:2 and 2. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as a shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Man is that source of that shelter, that covering, that protection. That's part of the rock. That's what comes with being the head. That's what comes with leadership. That's why it's a thing as well. There's an interview that, what do you call it, Pro-Drama, the guy with Game of Thrones did about Cersei, saying that that's what she's put. Like, she basically, she wants power, but then she doesn't know what to do. She's basically lusting after power's sake. She doesn't then realize, okay, if I'm going to get power, then like, there's things that come with it. There's duty. There's basically then putting yourself into a situation. You've basically got to deal with a bunch of responsibilities.
Much came with much.
Same for modern men as well. That's why it's like even understanding masculinity. It's been so skewed that some people think they're just going to be able to do whatever they desire. They don't realize that for you to be the root core of the house, the patriarch, then comes the responsibilities.
Well, that's the reason why when you peer into the ghettos of the world, you have a lot of effeminate men. We find a lot of these gangsters are effeminate men that basically are raised by women or around women and don't have over their emotions. So when they get into a situation where you got to keep a cool head, they get a hot one. And that hot headedness ends up with someone dying, some emotion, hitting their peak and then a situation and there's no turning back from. Someone dies, someone goes to prison, or it begins to snowball as they're heading into a final destination. They ain't good for no one. You end up getting weeks down the line. You kill someone who took something you didn't need to. Good example, Goodfellas. With, what's his name? They killed a made man. Thingy, Joe Pesci. Yeah, Joe Pesci's character.
Yeah.
He killed a made man because why? Emotion. Tried to cover up. And what? Weeks down the line, he got his fucking head blazed off. Lo and behold. Isaiah 13:12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man on the golden wedge. That's it. Hey, what's basically going to happen?
I think
you're going to have those elect men for the fire.
It's
Purified.
so we've got one
About
wedge,
to pass out.
one wedge,
I wonder how they feel.
Same as certain foods, but it's like, bro,
no, I'm only 4 moons. So I
yeah, the men basically what? They're going to be drawn from the fire and into that state of fine gold. Why? Basically need to be have your impurities purged. For the nonsense, basically would have grown up with the confusion. But you would have taken as normal within society. All that needs to get purged for you to go through. The times are going to come. It's going to be what? It's going to be raw as hell. need someone on the scale to survive through. That's why you get to these post-apocalyptic movies.
I have
Guys,
two
it moves
heads.
west. It's what? Bro, it
No,
lost.
no, he
I
wants
remember, I
to
think it was in a movie, I
asking
can't
where's
remember
food.
the movie, it said
He
there
started
was
at
one
3
like
o'clock.
one
You
guy
fucking have
like
lunch before you
like a
come.
post-apocalyptic
You don't come at 3 o'clock and say, I want food. Fuck
we
off.
had a guy took the helm as a leader
I'm
over
finding nothing.
people that
What the
were
fuck is this
trying
PE?
to survive in that
You
situation.
started up at 9 o'clock
Said
and
it
yeah, I
was
was
tunnel
feeling
warfare
it.
like that.
It's like 3 o'clock.
Needed
No
to take
way.
they come to
You
a
fucking wait till 9 o'clock
fork in the
like
road,
everyone else.
a fork in the tunnel.
Fucking
And the
food.
guy basically
You're fucking
hesitated.
lazy.
I said, let's go
You know,
round.
if you work hard, I would take care of it. I was like, food, you want food? You do fuck all, I give you fuck all.
And the guy ran
Simple.
up
You
I
work
don't remember
hard,
where I heard
I feed you. That's it.
because of his unsurety in that situation, they sort of found out the weakness that nobody was able to really, guide the people like that with security. Yeah. So basically,
It's easy, don't make hard.
the Lord's going to basically trial you manifold temptations to basically prepare you for the time that we're headed into. Through that preparation, for the time of peace. So, sure, you would have all those previous times before to say like, okay, this happened, that happened, and that's one organization. Everything, the Lord said, everything on top. Looks like Johnny Bravo, because the way she parts is very proud of you. He was a demon, man. You might as well call it the fucking smoke. That's smoke. Go ahead of it. I'm like, bro. Like, it's funny because I walk past smoking section at work. Like, bro, smoke's just like, everyone, like once every hour, man. I swear, like, fucking secondhand smoke is worse as well. Because I'm like, bro, this time outside, like, breathing smoke. It's just like, bro, I can't, no energy. Yeah, we're gonna close up. Yeah.
Say, praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Allah, the one that's the apostle, known as great most honorable well. So, God willing, next week.